This is SBC News. Good evening. The Ministry of Health is calling on everyone to remain alert. With regards to the transmission of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Acting Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Meggy Louange, made the appeal this afternoon following a gradual increase in the number of active cases from a rolling average of about 50 per week to 100. There are 630 active cases in the country, most of them being on Mahé. The cumulative number of cases during the past 1.5 years is 19,390, with 18,650 who have recovered and 101 people who have passed away so far.
For a few weeks now, we've seen that on the rolling average, the number of cases were around 50 and slowly going down, and everybody was happy. But unfortunately, we've realized that for the last couple of weeks, the number of cases are slowly rising, last week and this week. And because of that, we would like to take this opportunity to remind people that we have the public health measures that are in place, that we need now to enforce to prevent the number of cases from going further up. Because when it does, then it puts pressure on the health system, health facilities, and on everybody. So the Public Health Authority would like to call upon the public to strictly adhere to the public health measures that are already in place.
Police have suspended 5 of their officers while they investigate the death of Derek Samson. A police communiqué says Samson, 43, died in Seychelles Hospital on Sunday afternoon after he was released from the Montfleury police station on Sunday morning, where he was being detained the night before. The communiqué says that as part of the investigation, which began on Sunday, the police have decided to suspend the 5 officers who worked at the Montfleury police station on that day. Police say that further decisions and appropriate actions will be taken based on evidence that they are continuously gathering and the post-mortem results of the cause of death of Samson. A 28-year-old man from Belvedere has been found presumed hanged in the Montfleury cemetery this morning. His body was hanging from a tree. The incident was reported to police at 6:35 a.m. this morning by a cemetery worker. Police say they have launched an investigation into the man's death, pending the result of the autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. President Wavel Ramkalawan has announced the appointment of 2 principal secretaries, Ralph Jean-Louis as Principal Secretary for Youth and Sports and Muriel Morgan as the new Principal Secretary for Lands. Mr. Jean-Louis holds a Master's in Educational Leadership and Innovations from the University of Warwick and a Bachelor's degree from the University of Sussex. He is a qualified and experienced IGCSE oral examiner and IGCSE syllabus. Mrs. Morgan holds a bachelor's degree in management and marketing from Curtin University of Technology. She has 10 years' experience in business management, where she has held several marketing development positions. Mrs. Morgan assisted in the 2020 elections, where she held the post of consultant for communications. President Ramkalawan received the Director for Climate Change, Environment and Sustainable Development within the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa Secretariat, Jean-Paul Adam, at State House this week. President Ramkalawan thanked him for his advocacy in his capacity in enhancing to support African countries, including Seychelles, to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. During the meeting, Mr. Adam, who is based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, briefed the President on his roles, which includes overseeing of UNECA's progress towards developing the blue and green economy in Africa. The meeting was also an opportunity to discuss how UNECA and Seychelles can further develop cooperation. The Finance Minister has granted more time to a task force mandated to investigate delays in the system for clearing parcels and packages entering the country. The panel submitted their preliminary findings to Nadir Hassan last week, but he's asked them to do more work before delivering their final report. The task force was originally given a 6-week deadline when it was convened in early June, but it's now been granted another month.
Clearing customs, it's often the most strenuous part of getting a parcel here. People have long complained that getting an incoming package processed frequently takes longer than the journey across the oceans.
Since the COVID-19 has hit Seychelles, it has been a little bit very hectic with the cargo, with the releasing of the cargo. Sometimes it has been taking 4 to 5 days, and naturally this is because of the shortage of staffs, and the procedures stays the same.
Couriers are supposed to be quick, so the government mandated a task force to find out what's going wrong, starting with those we pay to bring in goods. The courier companies we spoke to either didn't want to speak to us on camera or didn't return our calls, but they will be consulted by the task force that comprises the Trade Department, Customs, the Revenue Commission and the Postal Regulatory Authority. It'll also consult Air Seychelles and the clearing agents.
I think the customs, they sometimes do not realize that with the agent, we are in business as well. We depend on that clearing to survive. But there is sometimes things that they just spend time with the cargo, and at the end of the day, they said, okay, it has not been possible today, so you come back tomorrow. But our customer doesn't want to hear that.
The team was convened in early June to identify customs bottlenecks in the processing of incoming items, then come up with recommendations. Upgrading the customs' much criticised computer software is one area under the spotlight, but so are people.
There are certain things that we can do fast, operations we can fix fast, but if it requires certain infrastructure investment in digitalization, that of course, as you know, in this time where the budget is limited, we have to try and navigate with the resources that government does have.
It's taking longer than expected. The Finance Ministry told us a preliminary report was compiled and presented last week to Minister Hassan. However, Minister Hassan has required the team to do some more work on the issue, and thus the deadline to present the final report has been extended by a month. It's one last push for the task force now, with the government hoping we'll see a simpler, faster system in place well before the Christmas rush.
Team Seychelles has a new challenge to participate in the Global Challenge. This is to mount a small satellite and launch it into the atmosphere for the purpose of gathering certain information. The team was presented with pieces of this satellite in a short ceremony at the Regional Centre in Law Enforcement for Maritime Safety Reflex 3 this week. This was done in the presence of the Minister for Entrepreneurship, Investment, Industry and Investment, Devika Vidot, and other key partners such as the Coast Guard. The Chief Executive of the Science and Technology Division of Innovation presented the Seychelles team with pieces of this small satellite or nanosatellite to participate in Global Challenge 2021.
The CubeSat project is a small satellite, it's a nanosatellite. That is this year, part of the first Global Challenge 2021. The country team who has taken part in the challenge, in this first Global Challenge, has to launch this CubeSat into the stratosphere collect the data and then retrieve the data. And then the data is sent to First Global to prove that the whole process has been completed. First Global is a STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics program, global program. In the room, we have key stakeholders.
Much more news in Creole at 8 o'clock, but for now, from me, good evening.